I want to pull today from the Exotic Cancer Tarot deck. It's so pretty. Okay. And just chill out a little bit, you know, and talk about what I think is a good response to trouble. If you find yourself going through something and then you catch yourself like calling everybody in your life, your boyfriend, your best friend from middle school, your best friend from high school, your best friend from college, and your best friend from work, and then your mom, aunties, and your therapist, and telling all of them over and over and over and over the difficulties that you are currently facing, I'd like to suggest taking a moment to get off the phone and just sit with yourself, to possibly do a spiritual cleanse and a spiritual floor wash. So, floor wash and then a spiritual bath. And then to follow that up with maybe a write and burn. So, that's just where you set an alarm for 12 minutes, sit down, and write out all the issues, all the things that are scaring you, frustrating you, worrying you, weighing on you. And then after you do that, maybe a little bit of scripting, looking through a Pinterest board without shopping, without purchasing anything. Okay. Because oftentimes when we're in a bad place and we go shop or we go drink, eat, smoke, or scroll, those things are not actually going to help us. Okay. So let's do something that might help us, like go for a walk, read a book of poetry, read a good book, take a nap, get some rest, drink some water, make yourself a pot of tea, meditate, visualize, sit down for 20 minutes and follow some of the coursework, complete some of the coursework you have. Do something that'll edify you and help you and uplift you. Go finish the laundry, wash your bed sheets, do something like that you'll thank yourself for in a few hours or the next day or later this week. Do something for yourself to lay the road, to lay the foundation and to make the road ahead just a little bit easier for yourself, especially since things can get tough sometimes. Okay. Now it's Gemini and new moon. Yesterday was World Tarot Day, and I didn't pull a tarot card, so I wanted to get on today and pull a tarot card. Okay. And I just wanted to talk to you. Luckily I've gotten myself out of situations and connections where either I was calling and talking endlessly about problems or other people were calling, talking endlessly about problems. And now I've got myself to a place where I get to solutions very, very quickly. And life just isn't as stressful anymore. I think the really good friends that you have, the Emperor, Queen of Pentacles, yes, money. And then Nine of Pentacles, which I don't really know what that is. So I have to look it up. But the really good friends that we have in our lives are going to be the ones, okay, who help us resolve the problems and not just sit around listening to us talk about the problems again and again and again. Like, if you've been talking about the problem all day, take a break. You know what I mean? Like, come over. I got extra notebooks here. I have extra candles. We can dress some candles. We can script. We can do a write and burn. We can sit down. We can visualize. I have a wonderful prosperity playlist we can listen to. We can pray together. We can put together a traditional vision board, or we can sit down together and pull together a Pinterest board. I can make you a pot of tea and we can just relax and be together. Those are the kinds of friendships that we need. That's the kind of friend I am. Okay, because you talking to me about money problems, I'm giving you some money oil. We're going to make us a prosperity pumpkin, something. We're going to do some offerings. We're going to get some fruit and some cakes for Santissimo. We're going to say some prayers. I'm going to direct you to some prayers maybe that I have posted online. We're going to change our minds about things. Because while things are fucking awful and terrible, they're also incredible and wonderful. Both things are true. And I know if you grew up in a environment where there were very strict dichotomies and you had to like choose one or the other, like very harsh binaries, things are either all bad or they're all good. That's not life. Life is a million shades of gray, okay? And it really is about how we choose. Oh my God, this is just so pretty. I love it so bad. It's really about how we choose to look at things. It really is. It really is. It's like, okay, this is a problem and my life is over, or this is a problem and I'm competent and capable of resolving this. It might take some time, but I have a little bit of time. Okay. So, emperor is authority, domination. The emperor is a fatherly figure, a strong leader who demands status and power. He brings wisdom, strategy, and influence. You have a clear vision of what you want to create. Claim your authority and don't let others put you down. Okay, so if there's something you're planning to do, something you're working toward, don't be afraid. Don't let yourself get caught up in the whole, imposter syndrome thing or overthinking. I got videos about this, podcasts about this that you can tune into and listen to help you heal from those different things. But baby, you are in a position of power. You are in a place of power and you have more authority over your life and over what you create than you might be acknowledging. And it's time to acknowledge that. Okay. It's time to acknowledge that you have more influence, more authority, that you are a leader, that you don't have to wait for other people to agree, to see the vision, to join you, to help you, to support you, that you really can support yourself. You can figure things out on your own. And all those processes that I gave you that I would give to a friend if somebody came to me and was just like, it's all burning down. It's all terrible. It would be like, baby, all is not lost. You're still here. You still have life. You still have opportunities. You still have creative thoughts. We have access to magic and prayers and spells and potions. And there are things that we can do. We can even work together. We could work together. We could strategize and plan. I can help you with some things. There's a lot that we can still do. You don't have to lose your fucking head. You can, if you need 12 minutes to kind of lose it a little bit, no problem. I'll set the cauldron up for you. You can write it out and burn it. These are things that you can do for friends, but these are things that you can do for yourself. Like, be a friend to yourself and do for yourself. Okay. You're in a position of power and authority, a position of leadership, and you really want to take that seriously. You don't want to sleep on that. You don't want to pretend like you don't have the influence that you have. Be careful with it. Make sure that you're influencing people in a powerful and uplifting way. And make sure that you're also remembering the power that you embody to create and recreate your life again and again and again. Okay, so we have Queen of Pentacles. Queen of Pentacles, sexy card, love it. So providing financial independence, okay? So the Queen of Pentacles brings prosperity and security. You care for your family and domestic responsibilities while also making a living for yourself and creating financial abundance. You're able to maintain a healthy balance between home life and work life. That's beautiful. Let me tell you, I think it takes self-love, strong boundaries, and maturity to finally start balancing out your work stuff with your life stuff, your home stuff, and to not be overworking, to not be, running your body into the ground, to not be afraid that if you don't work enough, that you'll fall behind, or to get caught up in this whole like comparison and competition thinking. It takes a lot of self-love, self-respect, self-honor, but also self-trust and trust in God to know it is safe for me to chill out, to slow down, to relax, to rest a little bit, and to jump back in. Okay. I have time for the gym. And if I don't have time for the gym, we need to look at some of these other obligations that need to get off my list. Okay. I have time to take care of myself. I have time to rest. I have time to take a breather. Okay. So the last card that we pulled is, oh, I love this, 9 of Pentacles. Luxury and hustling. This deck is just so interesting. I do love it. I'll make sure she's not naked because I don't want to get in trouble. Okay, so thanks to your independent efforts, you attained a well-deserved success. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy the luxuries and pleasures of the good life. Money, leisure time, fun, material comfort, and rest. You deserve it. This is a beautiful card. Feels like a parrot. Parrots always make me think of like traveling to the Caribbean, tropical vacations. Being, you know, maybe a upcoming trip, being able to enjoy the fruit of your labors because you took your position of power, leadership, and influence seriously. Because you took your ability to create your own life and to change things, to solve your problems, to step up, to handle business seriously, and started doing those things, and then found yourself in a place where work is going very well, and you're also balancing that with really, really good self-care, self-love. Now you can enjoy the fruits of your labor, you can travel, you can have a good time. And that's in the immediate future position. So these are probably things that you've already realized, especially the Geminis, things that you've already realized, like, I don't know why I'm over here acting like I can't switch this whole shit up. Like, I can't rebrand and handle business and be good in 6 months, or good in 3 months, or good by summer, which is coming up quickly. I love this deck. Again, I currently bought the night shift board game, and I'm going to be heading out to the beach in a couple of days with Emma, and we're going to do our unboxing of that game on the beach. But I wanted to sit down with you guys and remind you of the different processes, and I wanted to recommend another book. Do y'all ever get tired of me recommending books? I don't think you do, because I'll talk to folks online and they let me know, like, I talk to folks online and they let me know, like, keep the book recommendations going. So I'm pretty sure that you guys are fine with me making book recommendations. This one is Secret of the Ages by Robert Collier. And it's just interesting. It's an interesting read. It feels like kind of a recalibration as you're reading it. My copy is like falling apart. I'm going to duct tape this motherfucker in a second. Why does my book look like that? In the beginning, this earth was just a fire mist. 6,000 or a billion years ago, what does it matter which? It does matter. It matters, okay? This earth is I think billions of years old, actually. And, I've been reading up on and researching anti-intellectualism and people who distrust scientists and don't believe what scientists have to say. And these are the types of things that cost people their lives. There are also people, who are part of certain religions who really believe that the earth was only established a few thousand years ago. And they think it's the only religion, the only belief, the only truth. So it matters. Robert, it matters, okay? So in the beginning, it matters, all right? We're going to trust the scientists and people who have actually studied the earth, who've dug down into the earth. We're going to believe archaeologists. We're going to do that, okay? One thing that does matter is that sometime, some way, there came to this planet the germ of life, okay? So the vital force which animates all nature, plant, animal, man. If we accept the scientist version of it, and we do, the first form in which life appeared upon earth was the humble algae, a jelly-like mass which floated upon the waters. This, according to the scientists, was the beginning, the dawn of life upon the earth. Next came the first bit of animal life, the lowly amoeba. Okay, so we all heard about the amoeba. Okay, a sort of jellyfish consisting of a single cell without vertebrae and with very little else to distinguish it from the water around about. But it had life, the first bit of animal life, and sufficient intelligence and resource to find the means of sustaining life and to progress. From that life, according to the scientists, we can trace everything we have and are today. All the millions of forms and shapes and varieties of plants and animals that have since appeared are but different manifestations of life, formed to meet differing conditions. I love this part. So for millions of years, this life germ, these are his quotes, was threatened by every kind of danger, from floods, from earthquakes, from droughts, from desert heat and glacial cold, from volcanic eruptions, but to it, each new danger was merely an incentive to finding a new resource, to putting forth life in some new shape. To meet one set of needs, it formed the dinosaur. To meet another, the butterfly. Long before it worked up to man, we see its unlimited resourcefulness shown in 1,000 ways. To escape danger in water, it sought land. Pursued on land, it took to the air. To breathe in the sea, it developed gills. Stranded on land, it perfected lungs. To meet one kind of danger, it grew a shell. For another, a sting. To protect itself from glacial cold, it grew fur. In temperament climes, hair. Subject to alternate heat and cold, it produced feathers. But ever from the beginning, it showed its power to meet every changing condition, to answer every creature need. Okay? Had it been possible to kill this life germ, it would have perished ages ago, when fire and flood, drought and famine followed each other in quick succession. But obstacles, misfortunes, cataclysms were to it merely new opportunities to assert its power. In fact, it required obstacles to awaken it, to show its energy and resource. So some of y'all might not like that, but I love it. It definitely is going to get into the obstacles make you stronger. And I know some people hate that kind of thing. Like, we wouldn't have to be so strong if life wasn't so fucking difficult. It's like, it's a mindset thing. I really do believe that. But then you also, I'm also reading, let me show you, essays in this book, You Are Your Best Thing. Okay. Let's get to the essay I'm on. So I read something today that I was like, oh my God. It says, this is on page 127, Honoring Our Stories by Darren Young. She writes, external constraints are very real for the 8.1 million Black Americans living in poverty, even among the middle class. Some are just a few paychecks away from being homeless. Because of the very real poverty brought on by generations of systemic racism, many of us are brought up to believe that vulnerability is a costly privilege that we simply can't afford to give ourselves or our loved ones. So we hide behind our shame shields, attempting to protect ourselves and one another. A life filled with fear and hypervigilance makes it difficult to trust anyone, including ourselves. A lot of us don't trust our family, our parents, other Black folk. We have been taught that Black is bad or wrong, and we often carry this self-limiting unconscious belief about ourselves and others. So you have to read the book. The book is incredible. It's a book done by Tarana Burke and Brene Brown, with 520 contributing authors. It's an anthology with essays focused on vulnerability, shame, resilience, and the Black experience. It's a beautiful book that I was recommended by Creole Muse. But you read that, I read the one book that was written in 1920s by some white guy, and he's like, obstacles are wonderful. And then I read the book that was written a few years ago, and it's like, 8.1 million Black people are living in poverty. Okay, so why would I continue to talk about spiritual things and talk about prayer and talk about scripting and law of attraction and magic and our spirits and ancestral veneration? Because let me tell you something. I'm gonna be honest. And I used to say this to one of my friends, that I don't know how people who don't pray are making it. I don't know how you're making it, because I pray. Some days I pray all day and I barely be making it. I keep recommending these things. I keep practicing these things because they sometimes are the only thing that smooth this shit out, that give me a bit of hope, that give me a spark of light in sometimes an otherwise extremely dark time. That is why I recommend these things. Reading, studying, continuing to edify yourself, being a self-directed learner, being curious, and continuing to gather information, to learn, to study while you can. I hope we never live in another, dark age where, we cannot have access to our materials and our study materials and have a little extra time to read. But it's like, you already feel terrible and you use all your extra time to scroll on the internet, accidentally overspending because you keep checking out in TikTok shop, watching D-level celebrities and their relationship drama play out in the shade room, and then sitting up in everybody and anybody's live all day and ain't taking care of your spiritual space, your altars, no prayers, no spiritual baths, no floor washes, no meditation, visualization, journaling, no walks in the park, no communing with the trees. Baby, if things are already bad, you don't want to make them worse. And you don't want to do things that are going to continue to contribute to you not feeling so hot. Okay? I think one of the biggest secrets is I can feel good. I can feel connected. I can feel full of hope and faith no matter what is going on externally. And that I can be resilient. I can be rebellious. Rebellious is a better word. My optimism and my happiness and my joy can be forms of resistance, and honestly can be so fierce that they're rebellious. Okay? I read this. I want you to hear this thread that I read that said, not to be dramatic, but joy might actually save us. That's how I feel. That's how I feel. Like somebody is trying to pound you into the dirt. You got blood in your fucking teeth and dirt on your face, and you just get up laughing and really laughing. This person is doing everything in their motherfucking power to tear you to pieces, and your ass just won't tear. You just won't tear. In fact, you laugh. You find out new ways to take care of yourself. You keep hitting the gym. You're getting stronger every day. You taking care of yourself mentally, spiritually, emotionally. You studying. You're getting more socially engaged. You're learning about things, signing petitions left and right, showing up for people, making lifestyle changes, ain't shopping at the old places no more, eating more greens. Biggest witch around. Damn. Meanwhile, they knocking on death's door. Y'all know what I'm saying. All right. Let's see what the 8 ball is saying. Ask a question. I have the magic 8 ball. Wait. Did it? I have the magic 8 ball. Ask a question. Form your question in your mind. Ask a question. And I'm going to tell you the answer, no matter what your question is. The magic 8 ball. What the hell? Okay. It says you may rely on it. Okay. So, yeah, whatever you ask, you can rely on it. I hope you ask, does he love me? You can count on it. All right. Have a good day. Bye.